So the other tools we can have a little look at. So another thing we can look at is brand visual analysis. So let's analyze the visual brand perception and competitive positioning. So let's have a little look at that, see what that's going to show us. So we'll look at this again. It's all a very similar process. So we'll go there, we'll take the domain, and then we'll just analyze that. Now, we have the same system throughout all of the pages that we pull in the basic information. And then when you want to dig deeper into each of these tools, then we have to run an analysis. That's a real-time analysis. That's looking at that page at that time, which is important because you might have made changes. You may have, analyzed this on Monday, and then you've done all this work, and then Friday you want to go, right, actually, now we've done all that changes. What's it telling us now? And so we can go back and actually look at that, so by saving out those reports from say Monday and then going to Friday and saving out a report for Friday means that we can compare, we can A/B test against those things and see what we've changed, how we changed it, and how it's perceived. How does that now come across to our target audience? Is our messaging now right? So let's now talk about this sort of brand visual analysis. Let's have a look at this. So competitive visual brand analysis for pumpgyms.com. So it's given a 7, which is a pretty reasonable score, really, to be honest with you. So it's, the industry is fitness and recreation. So the industry alignment fits quite well, professional appearance. Yeah, it's got professional appearance on the website. I'd say that. It's modern. Yeah, reasonably modern. Accessibility, yeah, it's got some, the contrast ratios are pretty good on this, like white text on dark background, so that's really, really good. And it's got it's quite a consistent website for all of the pages that I looked at on that website. It's quite consistent, so their brand consistency is pretty good. So this is a good all-round score for this particular thing. So let's look at the strengths. So the visual strengths. The strength was easy to navigate. The key information is prominently displayed. The call to action buttons are clear and well placed. The brand messages are of affordability and convenience is consistently communicated. So areas of improvement, the website designs feel somewhat dated and lacks a strong visual identity. Yeah, that's, I think it's reasonably modern, to be honest with you. It was scored at 6 out of 10. So maybe we need to do some comparisons against more modern websites, newer websites. Maybe this was written, a few years ago now, and things have changed. So we maybe need to look at that. Look at your competitors. What do your competitors look like? How do you stack up? Things change. The visual landscape for design changes all the time. So you need to, keep on top of that. Rebranding, not always full rebranding, but, rebranding look and feel and things like that is really important. As you sort of go through your journey as a business, you'll change this every few years. You'll come up with a new look and a new feel. So it's important to sort of keep on top of those things, Yeah, they've not used much, the font choices are functional. They're not stylish in any way. They're not applying any particular sort of stylish fonts, but, for this gym, that might be enough. There's no sort of fancy drop shadows or gradients and things or whatever's happened at this particular time, but it's maybe it's enough, but we just, have a look at it again, have a look at it. You don't have to make changes, just have a look at it. And that's what this is all about. So the visual analysis, we've already sort of pulled all that information in there, really. So from the overview, so this is a bit of a repetition in here, but it just sort of, it focuses that information down. Industry alignment, so it's functional. It doesn't fully leverage the typical visual style of fitness industry. It lacks the energy and vibrancy often associated with fitness brands. The imagery is insufficient to create an inspirational feeling or showcase the gym's environment effectively. So maybe there's some work that needs to be done on that, Again, these are only suggestions. It doesn't mean it's right, doesn't mean it's wrong. It's just suggestions. It's just ideas, have a think about it. If you disagree with these things, that's fine. You just, you apply it as you feel that you need to apply that gets your message across. It's not always about visual side of things. It's about consistency and it's about messaging. But this really should help you, give you ideas, incorporate more high quality images and videos showcasing the gym's modern equipment. That's probably true. Probably does need that. Spacious facilities. I mean, it's it looked like it was in a warehouse style. It had a nice entrance to it. When I looked at the website, it was quite modern in that sense. Um, I don't know about diverse clientele. I've not seen, it doesn't show me a diverse clientele in any of the imagery, so maybe that's what needs to change. Energetic or inviting color palettes. Yeah, I found it was okay for me, but it could maybe do with a bit of tweaking here and there. So before and after images, which are testimonials, demonstrate results. I mean, that's key. That's really important. So yeah. So maybe you need to do that. This is Paul, and he started at he was £240, and now he's down to £180. And he's done that in 6 months. Put some sort of comparison. That'd be really, really, really useful for some people. And again, when that comes to sort of that whole customer journey that we talked about before, showing the before and after really, really helps people make a decision. They think, yeah, this is the gym for me. The personal trainers there have helped me lose, 50 pounds, which is a huge amount of weight. And if you're that person, if you're talking to that person in your messaging, and that person's the one that's looking at your website, they're going to pick up the phone and go, yeah, you know what, they can help me. So I'm going to do that. And that comes through writing or producing this imagery on your website. And you're only doing that because your intention is to bring those people to your website and to convert them into paying customers. So intention again, it's all about intention. It's about the content that you write. So and improve the hero image to instantly convey the benefit of joining Pump Gym. So it kicks in straight away with no joining fee as the big sort of strap line on top of there, but it doesn't sort of it needs a better image probably in there and instantly convey the benefits of, people really enjoying the gym, happy people smiling, enjoying their workout, a community of people actually talking to each other, just those kind of key images would go a long way to making people feel like it's a nice, polite, comfortable gym. It's clean, it's tidy, it's well maintained. It's so many things that you can think about. And again, as I repeat, that these pages just help us think about our intention, think about our marketing as a whole. So, and then we got compared to the visuals, we've talked a little about the visual sort of thing, so let's give you a bit of a visual assessment. So what we're doing here is we're looking at Pure Gym. It's gone, so it's 8 out of 10, and your brand 7 out of 10. So it's basically saying that it's Pure Gym is slightly more visually appealing than your one, so we can have a little look at these areas, so comparison scores 8 out of 10 for visual quality and performs better than your branding visual design. So you need to maybe look at that a little bit, but you're not far off, you're pretty similar. So this one here, the gym group, comparing slightly differently. Anytime Fitness are very similar in where you are with Anytime Fitness, and David Lloyd. I mean that's a high end. I mean a much more high end luxury gym, and put a lot more emphasis into sort of the luxury feel and things like that. So their visual appeal is going to be just different to what Pump Gym does, But again, it just gives you an idea. You might want to go and look at the David Lloyd clubs and actually look at them and go, okay, so there's some good stuff on here. What can I do on my website to kind of tick some of those boxes? And that's what this does. And again, everything is about just ideas. It's about brainstorming. It's about trying to open your eyes and open your mind to some different ways of looking at your content and how you can engage and attract people. Because it's all about getting people to buy, and that's exactly what it is. So, and the last piece is we've got a competitive analysis as well in here. So, so again, this is sort of similar sort of information and all your scores and that kind of stuff. So, if you're just looking at your brand visual analysis here, just looking at you as a brand and against your competitors, really useful tool and well worth sort of adding to your reports when you're sort of analysing your business. So we're now going to just head back to the dashboard.